all, let me say good morning to members of the media. Quiet, please. What I can tell the country now is that we have reached a resolution to what we've been going through for the past 2 days. The issue concerning the bar porters, whilst it has been sorted out to a degree of satisfaction for them, they have accepted it. The bar porters, the bartenders, we still need to sit down and have a conversation with management about their rules and their responsibilities and what things are going to look like. What I will say also to the country is that we worked last night until about 10:30, quarter to 11 last night to get part of the agreement that I'm speaking with you today. We did finish it off this morning. We spoke to the bartenders this morning, their bartenders and bar porters this morning. And after speaking to the membership a few moments ago, we've accepted what we have done with the management team from last night and today. There are some other things that I think the country needs to be concerned about. There are so many Bermudians still unemployed in our country, can't find work. And that's in the organized area mainly, but also people, concerns that we have in some of the divisions that the B.I.U. represents. So this comes as no surprise to the minister. I just reached out to him a few moments ago and told him that there are at least 2 divisions that the B.I.U. represent within government that has some very serious concerns that needs to be addressed. Because over the past several weeks, they have been very close to dropping tools and stopping work. And that's the Parks Department and Marine and Ports. So I've given the minister a heads up that the department heads and the ministry needs to be very concerned about what's happening in those 2 departments. But I want to just digress for a minute because yesterday something happened that concerned me as the leader of the B.I.U. Too many times, the B.I.U. membership or the B.I.U. leadership has been accused of coercing, inciting, coercing our members. Yesterday, we had a member of the public that tried to coerce and intimidate our members. And you might be saying, well, Mr. Furbert, it's just a member of the public. No, it was no ordinary member of the public. When you have the executive director of the Bermuda Chamber of Commerce, which is Mrs. Joanne McPhee, chanting our members to go back to work. And had I not turned around because I was at the front of the line and I saw something going on, I walked back. We could have had a mini riot yesterday. And I'm not trying to over-dramatize anything. But here you have a person in authority inciting workers and then they're accused, I guess because, and I don't want to get to no race issue. Don't want to. But guess what? For Ms. McPhee to make that kind of statement, we could have taken it that way. We were having a peaceful march. It was well organized. We were listening to what the police was telling us or whatever, and there was no need for her to do what she did yesterday. And she urged this country and our members an apology. With that, I'll entertain any questions the media might have.
What was the resolution that was reached with regard to the bar porters?
The bar porters will be, and you know, when the management team sent the email last night, we had to tweak it a bit because whilst they was prepared to offer employment to the bar porters, we want to make sure that they were going to be guaranteed employment as opposed to offered employment. So they are guaranteeing 4 jobs now. 3 bar porters are going to be guaranteed a job, as well as 1 in-room dining captain is also going to be guaranteed a job.
What else did the others who were displaced?
The others that were displaced were not B.I.U. members. We don't represent them. The other member that was B.I.U., he hasn't sought any representation whatsoever. So all we've done is represent the 4 members that came to us for representation. That's what we've done.
that employment
Couldn't hear the question.
will that employment commence immediately?
No, the employment will commence as of the 1st of May. And what I will say to you is that they were given an extended benefit of health insurance until April 24th. That extension of the insurance benefit will now be extended until they start employment. So they will not have a day without health insurance coverage.
That offer that was put by management last night wasn't on the table yesterday, or 2 days ago, or 2 weeks ago.
The offer,
That begs the question,
well,
why couldn't they make that offer 2 weeks ago? Is that a question that you put to management?
whilst I can't answer that question, I think it's a fair question for you to put to management, because I think what we said to them from day one is that, why is it you can't offer them some kind of other kind of employment? As Sister Marty said to Mr. Zernicki when we spoke, you're actually taking these 3 young brothers and threw them under the bus. You haven't even said, well, maybe we can give you a job here or in another department. You've made it redundant without any offer of employment. So I can't speak to whether or not they could have done this yesterday or they could have done it last week. I think the management team needs to answer that question.
What does this mean for the strike that was called yesterday?
What does it mean? What do you mean, what does it mean? It means that, as after we finish this press conference, everybody will return back to work as quickly as they can. So whether they get back to work between 11:30 and 12 o'clock or between 12 and 1, they are all going back to work after we're done.
You mentioned there's a situation with
parks
and
marine and ports.
Yes. Can you shed any light on exactly what those situations are?
Well, all I can tell you is that, for a lot of months now, the Parks Department have been concerned about the tools to do their work. They're concerned about how management is getting preferential treatment in some of the things that they're doing. The management team is not being held accountable. And I take great exception to when government wants to hold my members responsible, but not prepared to hold the managers responsible, and that has to stop. When we talk about these kind of situations, you have to start from the top and come down. Don't start from the bottom and go up. First of all, I work for somebody. I don't work for myself. And those managers need to properly carry out their functions on a daily basis and make sure they are held accountable. If they're mismanaging, then it should be addressed. Remember now, this was all addressed in the SAGE report about the civil servants. So I'm not telling anything to you that people don't already know.
The unions have been complaining that government perhaps has not been fair in their approach in negotiations and not going through the consultation process and such. Do you think that the developments over the last 2 days is going to impact that any?
Well, Mr. Moreno, I certainly hope that, what has happened over the last 2 days, which should be an eye-opener for the country, that people are getting tired, they've had enough, and when you see this kind of support galvanized in the matter of a day and a bit, naturally it should be of concern to the government, it should be of concern to the country, and you simply can't keep telling people that the economy is this, and this is that, and we're trying to get hotel business, but you can't do that at the expense of taking advantage of people. You simply can't do that. You also see standing behind the Bermuda Trade Union Congress leadership is standing over my right shoulder. They were here with us this morning. The fire service is also, I think, a few other members are here with us this morning. And people are watching this situation, and they were watching it very carefully. I heard Brother Airpole's comments last night on the news. And if this is not going to be an eye-opener for the country, I don't know what it's going to take. But certainly, employers out there, if you're going to have the executive director of the Bermuda Chamber of Commerce making those kind of statements, it tells you exactly where industrial relations are. This whole thing about legislation, and as I said, you can't legislate people's behavior. We were peacefully demonstrating yesterday, that's people's right to march. That's my constitutional right to do what I want to do freely. And if you start taking those rights away from people, if you think yesterday was bad, it can get a whole lot worse. Any further questions?
from the SAFE recommendations. Can you comment on that?
Well, we weren't the one that fired or made 3 bar porters redundant. This happened on the 24th of January. So I can tell you that when I was having a conversation with my members, I was not even thinking about the budget. It didn't even cross my mind. What we've done, and the reason why we've done it, because there was an injustice done. That injustice had to be put right. So whether it was a week before the budget, 6 weeks before the budget from our point of view was neither here nor there. Mr. Moreno.
Yesterday when we went to the cabinet office, we had some comment from the premier. We were informed he's off island, but one member of his staff, when we suggested to them that there was an island-wide strike on, they suggested that it had nothing to do with the government. How do you feel about that comment?
Well, if they said it had nothing to do with the government, then the motion that was made yesterday morning that was moved and seconded, and they asked me as the president of the BIU to make sure that we invite our entire membership to Union Square. The entire membership includes government workers. So when they say it don't concern them, maybe they need to get the head of the sand. I don't know. Thank you. Hold on a second, brothers and sisters. A letter sent to
Like Keith Jensen to the various employers, urging that people who did not need to be involved in the march should have stayed on their jobs and such. Were you aware of that?
I'll tell you what his action. He's saying there was a letter from the executive director of the Real Employers Council, which is Mr. Keith Jensen, telling our members to stay on the job because it didn't involve them. Right? No. You tell Mr. Jensen to take care of his members, and I'll take care of mine. What's that? Listen up. Listen, please. Listen.
Do you think this morning's outcome is a victory for the union, or a victory for common sense, or a victory for both? Victory for the country?
I think it's a victory for the people. And if anybody tells you anything different, then they also got to hear this same. I said that respectfully because whilst we are having a situation where we're no longer going to have bar porters at Fairmont Hamilton, but it doesn't mean that the bartenders are going to do the porters' work, because we're going to have that conversation with the management. But I'll tell you what it does mean, and I said this to the minister, I said this to the employers yesterday, that entry-level positions in the hotel has always been something that's been there, and we got to work on a way as to how we can get that back. Because we simply can't have a situation in 5 or 10 years' time where all the bartenders are being brought in from other countries, because we don't have an entry-level position to allow somebody to work their way up to be a bartender. So we certainly are going to be having a number of conversations with the government, with the HEB, about making sure that we have entry-level positions in the hotels again to make sure that that is protected. Now, I didn't say anything to the media a few minutes ago, but, you know, I got from my secretary that you have to leave it because the the minister's got a press conference at 11 o'clock. And you got to leave. I called him on the phone, he says press conference at 11:30. So what are you guys trying to set me up? What's that? Well, let me show you how this process works. I called the minister. And I said to him, what's this about you setting up a press conference for 11 o'clock when we said you was going to wait for us to get back to you? Mr. Furbert, my press conference scheduled for 11:30, and we was waiting for you to go, we'd have a response for you by 11:30. That's why we set it up for 11:30. So I don't know whose wires got crossed, but be very careful when you come in the House of Labor, because we are about the facts and nothing but the facts. Anyway, I'd like to thank the media for coming. Right now, we need to have another brief conversation with our members. The TUC is here. I want them to address our membership before we leave to go back. So, unless you have another question, I want to thank you. Brother Alan Wilson wants to address the media while they're here as president of the Bermuda Trade Union Congress.
Good morning, members of the press. The Bermuda Trade Union Congress is obviously very concerned about the recent events. As the national body responsible for unions, we want to make sure that it's paramount that employers in the island know that we intend to always present a unified approach. However, whilst each union would have autonomy to conduct business in its own way and show support in whatever way once their business is done, in principle, the Trade Union Congress is very much was behind this initiative here. So I just want to make it clear that, again, we will be always presenting a unified approach. And as also president of the Fire Service Association, we worked through the night trying to meet, and we made a collective decision that we would walk around here today to support the BIU. We also want to make it clear that as past negotiations went on and as we plan to move forward and negotiate, as you would know that last year we negotiated, or negotiations took place for government under the auspices of the Trade Union Congress, that we expect consultation, we expect collaboration, and we expect parties to adhere to the collective bargaining agreement. So with that said, you can rest assured that moving forward, again, this won't be the last time you're going to see us.
Kevin, I don't want to start something because I don't want to make the media late for the 11:30 press conference.
Good morning, brothers and sisters of the Bermuda Industrial Union. Good morning. I think you would have heard my brothers mention earlier. I think this is a great time right now because it has galvanized not only the members of the BIU, but the workers of this country, which is very important. You know, that's why when we were putting our hands up just now and saying united we stand divided before, that's not a motto that should be for the BIU, it's a motto for the workers of this country. United we stand and divided before. You have heard the president of the Bermuda Trade Union Congress mention about collaborative consultation and dialogue that the union sort of set a precedent for when we sat down for negotiations last year to make sure that we were not thinking of ourselves for any personal gains. We didn't think for any personal gains for the BIU, no personal gains for the BPS, no personal gains for any one of the trade unions that you see up there. the negotiations were for the benefit of this country. And that's what this organization is about. That's what we must think about. Over and over together, divided we stand, divided we go. Thank you, brother.
Now, brothers and sisters, I think that I should acknowledge that there are two individuals here today with us who are also part of the redundancy that took place on the 24th of January. I was in the road there. But the two sisters are sitting right down in front on my left. And they were two part of the management team. So Brother Reed has given me something in writing. So Ken, if you don't mind, stand and we can acknowledge you, please. Stand up everybody. Stand up. So we want to acknowledge the fact that they have seen fit to join the ranks, looking for the right word, the ranks of the membership of the two hotels as well as us today. And Brother Reed, once he sent that to me, I want to acknowledge them. So thank you for being here with us today.